and welcome to Pale Blue Pod, the astronomy podcast for people who are overwhelmed by the universe but still want to be its friend.
I'm Connie, and I care about the universe, and I'm learning about the universe, but today I want to talk about my friend. My friend Moiya right here. Hi.
Hi, I am Dr. Moiya McTier, and I'm a friend to the universe and a friend to the Muses. I have written from the perspective of both. Well, I wrote from the perspective of the galaxy, which is not the same thing as the universe. But yes, I love perspectives larger than my own. Hello. We have a special episode today. We're going to flip some things around. I'm getting in the hot seat right now as I speak.
Yes, I am taking over. I am calling back to my former reporter days, my former writer days, and I am going to be interviewing Dr. Moiya McTier, a supreme astrophysicist, a folklorist, a friend to the universe, an author, and my bestie.
Yes, some of my favorite hats to wear.
Yes.
Metaphorical, of course. My hair is too big for actual hats.
Yeah, I understand, for real. So we're going to talk about Mothers of Invention. And as you just mentioned, you have already written a book where you are taking this larger-than-life perspective on the universe. How did this feel different than that book?
What a great question. Just throwing
right
me in
off
the
the
deep
back.
end.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's fine. I will say this was a much greater challenge than my first book for so many reasons. My first book, The Milky Way, an autobiography of our galaxy, was essentially just the popular science version of what I wrote my PhD dissertation on. So I felt like an expert. I'd already done, at that point, 5+ years of research. And so all I really had to do was figure out what to include and how to present it in this fun and funny way. Mm-hmm. And I wrote The Milky Way during a pandemic when I felt really alone, so it was easy to pretend to be a very lonely galaxy. This was at least 9 times as challenging. I had to write from 9 different perspectives. I really wanted each of the Muses' voices to be distinct. Mm-hmm. And instead of writing about something I was a literal expert in, I had to learn the history of 8 different inventions.
I love it.
You were there through all of it, Connie.
I've been there.
You saw my stress. You saw me go back and forth on what the different Muses would sound like. You saw it all. So it was kind of a torturous process, as much creation is.
Absolutely. So let's remind our listeners what your book is about. What is Mothers of Invention about, Moiya?
It is a history of creativity from the Greek Muses. It covers 8 different inventions. And the idea here is that Cleo, the Muse of history, is going through her sister's journal entries and picking out stories of her sisters helping us humans create these inventions. And along the way, also commenting on humanity's relationship to creativity over time and how I see that we are in a creativity crisis, that we're in this weird phase of imagination. We have a very strange relationship to art and creativity that we've never really had before as a people. And the book walks us through the history of how that started and then gives some suggestions for how we can get out of it.
Oh, I can't wait, because I want to know, how do we do this? Because I feel it myself. I see it in other people, this struggle to connect with our creativity and how tied to algorithms or money or finances or well-being it is. So I'm so glad that you have written this book. I think it's coming out at a great time for people to have something to think about and to hopefully turn us around.
Fingers crossed. And you, in our text exchanges, have started using this phrase that I put in the book, the cult of personality or the cult of celebrity. That is this weird phase that we're in right now.
Absolutely.
Where in previous phases of human imagination, this is according to a historian and a philosopher, Richard Kearney, who studies human imagination. He broke it down into 3 phases that all had to do with art as expression. In early phases, art was expressing our faith and our like ultimate belief. In another phase, it was expressing our worldview. And in a different phase, it was expressing our opinion using existing art as a vehicle, like through parody. All of those have the art being more important, or the thing that the art expresses being more important than the person expressing it. And we are now in a phase where the person expressing something, if they're expressing at all, is more important than what's being expressed. And we don't even ask for true expression anymore. We'll just settle for influencers or like content creators making content and following trends.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I have been using it more and more because it is so true. And after you introduced that to me, I was able to also reflect on different periods where I'm like, wow, that really does track of like how things have changed. Tell us, Moiya, how did you get the idea for this? Like, it's such a thing that we're steeped in right now. And it's like, it is hard to kind of like put your finger on these things. So like, what originally sparked the idea for this book?
I will say this book has gone through several iterations.
Indeed, it has.
I've had so many different ideas of what this book is going to look like. So what is going to end up on the shelves so drastically different from this first spark idea that I had. But I actually came up with the initial idea to write from the Muses' perspectives before I wrote the Milky Way.
Wow.
It goes back. It was when I was actively proposing the Milky Way. And a lot of editors thought that the idea was too childish. I think because we were going to include illustrations and it was a personified, like anthropomorphized thing.
Listen, I love those kinds of books. They should have made it.
Right. And so people thought it was too childish, and I wanted to have different ideas in case no one wanted the Milky Way. Of course, someone eventually did.
Thankfully.
But one of those ideas was, I think it's an epistolary, right? It's a novel written in the form of letters.
Yeah.
I wanted to write an epistolary between the Greek muses, and it was something about invention. It was something about tools. And I think I was watching a Disney movie at the time, but I don't think it was Hercules. I think I was like watching Aladdin or something.
Yeah, that one will also do it to you.
Yeah, and I don't know, everything just came together. The muses themselves visited me and gave me this idea.
They sure did. And there are 9 muses, and you obviously are a studier of folklore, so like you knew about the muses, but like in the writing of this, did you learn anything new about them? Was there anything that shifted your perspective about them?
Oh, shifted my perspective. Yeah, I just got to know them a lot better. I think when we grow up, we hear about the muses, we see them in Hercules.
But only 5 of them wanted to come out.
Exactly. See, this we can't even all agree on how many muses there are, and the classic Greek writers didn't agree on how many there were. Sometimes there were 3 of them.
Oh, just 3.
At other times 7, but most of the time, and this started with Hesiod, most of the time it was 9.
Okay.
And there are 4 of those 9 who are devoted to poetry. I didn't know that before I started working on this.
Yeah, the Greeks love their poetry. They're like, okay, well, this is a different kind, so it's a different muse, okay?
It's a different muse. And you can clearly see in that the bias, that it's the bards. It is the poets telling us about these muses, so of course they're going
like, we're the
to
best.
project. Exactly. But interestingly, something I learned in writing this book, the ancient Greeks didn't have a concept of creative or to create something, but the only art form that was considered originally made by the artist and not discovered by the artist or given to them by an external source was poetry. The closest word that ancient Greeks had to create was poiesis, which meant to make, and was reserved specifically for poetry. All other forms of art were not seen as original.
Wow. Yeah, I remember there's a quote about, I want to say like Michelangelo or something, where he like carved out from the rock, and it was like he was finding it, like it was being found, this sculpture, as opposed to like something that he made over time.
Yeah, the Greeks talk about it as discovery. The Romans do add in that painting and sculpting and these visual forms of art are also a kind of creation, but they take the Greek muse or Greek daemon and turn it into the Roman genius. So there's still this external spirit that is guiding you towards inspiration. And then the medieval Christians, they take it, kind of really far in the opposite way and say, actually, nothing humans make is creative. Only God can create, which we talked about in the creativity lecture.
Right. So there are 9 muses, and they each inspire different things. Tell us about the muses in your book. What is their domain? What are they focusing on? And what place in history are they telling us about?
Oh, yes. I wanted to do a mix of kind of expected things. We have Erato, the muse of erotic poetry. She covers the invention of birth control. And that's, the long history of birth control, starting in the past where people were using herbs, people were using animal intestines as early types of condoms. And then through the 60s when the birth control pill was invented. That's Erato. That's of course, we would expect that.
Yeah.
But I wanted a mix of expected and unpredictable. So my favorite one there is Polymnia, who is the muse of sacred poetry. It would have been so easy for me to make her a really religious, pious woman who's really involved in the church and invent something for them.
Right.
But I twisted her concept on its head and made her really power hungry and said the reason she was ever helping the ancient Greeks worship the gods was because she herself was trying to curry favor with her father Zeus so that she could one day take over his throne.
Oh, no, not daddy issues in the middle of the story. Just ooh, here we go. Drama.
I mean, I love drama. It works. Yeah. They have one of the worst fathers
I know.
in mythical history. Let's use that to our narrative advantage.
Always.
Yeah. So she takes, that trauma from her daddy issues and uses it to inspire humanity to invent electricity and harness electricity because that is Zeus's ultimate power. And so if Polymnia can harness electricity with humanity's help, then she can lead this rebellion on Olympus and take over his throne herself.
Wow. Yeah, she's scheming. She's scheming over there.
She is.
Yeah, tell us about Urania. That one would be expected for you, wouldn't it be?
It would, yes. Urania, the muse of astronomy, is the only muse of a science and a mathematical type thing. Although Thalia, also known to help with architecture. There's some science in that.
Yeah.
But Urania, given domain over astronomy. She covers the invention of the telescope.
Love it.
Which makes a lot of sense. And she is presented as the youngest of the 9 muses. When you first meet her in the first chapter, she's described as the youngest and the littlest of us muses who always had to look up. And eventually her sisters realized that she wasn't looking up at them, but looking up past them at the stars.
I love that.
Yeah, I love her relationship with the stars. I, of course, took some inspiration from my own love of the universe and exaggerated it. But she's always wanted to meet someone else who loves the stars like she does. And the first person she meets who fits that description is Galileo. So she develops this deep relationship with Galileo, and Cleo uses that story to point at the origin of the human genius, to point at the moment in time when we stopped saying we have a genius. This is an external creative guide to I am a genius inherently within myself.
Yeah, that
which
flip.
That's where this issue starts.
The flip towards that cult of celebrity that comes where we are now, but that was still hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. So we start to absorb the genius into ourselves around the 1600s, and it's downhill from there.
Yikes.
Oh no. Yeah, and I'd say the height of it is in Thalia's chapter. Yeah, Thalia, the muse of comedy, covers the invention of the media industry, starting with radio and then going through film and TV. And that is the time period from the 1920s to the 1970s when this cult of personality really took root. Because all of a sudden, we normal people, the non-celebrities, these famous people are in our living rooms.
Yeah.
They're in our bedrooms. They're on our screens that we see all the time. And the lines between, this is a person versus this is a character, and this is an actor doing a job and being charming because they rely on the money they get from it versus this is how that person actually is. Like, those lines start to blur, and then we put them on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And it's bad.
Yeah. As a girl who studied TV in my amateur way and wanted to study it more professionally and be a TV writer, like, I really appreciated this like era because I just love TV and the history of it. But it is something that comes directly into your home, unlike movies even, which obviously you watch movies at home too, but TV is like every week they're there in your home. And so we've begun to form these attachments, like you were saying, and we can see that even more now with like the way people stan culture and like attaching themselves to a celebrity or to a influencer even. Like our standards are also kind of decreasing, aren't they?
Girl, yes. We used to require like Michelangelo level talent. The musicians who got huge used to have literally something weird about their bodies to make them sound so good. Like Freddie Mercury had extra teeth that gave him like more resonance in his body. I
think of Dizzy Gillespie because his cheeks, to be able to blow his cheeks out like that I've seen, I was like, wow, that's like extra like skin, like stretchiness. Like, what is that allows you to blow like he did? So yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm so glad you brought up Dizzy Gillespie. He is absolutely featured in Chapter 3. Thank you, bestie. Chapter 3 is called Feeling the Swing. The title's very strategic for all of the chapter titles, by the way.
Keep an eye out for that. Yeah.
Yes. And so Chapter 3, Feeling the Swing, is Euterpe, the muse of lyric poetry, which was the first form of poetry that really centers the self and like your emotional experience as opposed to being poetry about external experiences or figures. And she covers the invention of jazz. Like jazz music. And so she talks about Dizzy Gillespie and his role in the bebop revolution. And before that, talking about Louis Armstrong and how he would play with such pressure on his trumpet to achieve high notes that he would have blisters on his mouth, like semi-permanent blisters on his mouth at later ages. So yeah, they were incredibly devoted to their crafts and had like anatomical advantages. He like Michael Phelps in swimming. And these days, if you look good and if you have enough followers because you've used the right filters or auto-tune or whatever, you don't have to actually do the thing. You just have to have enough people who like to think that you do the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't even have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who else have we got?
We have... To take this kind of sad energy and make it
worse,
fun sad.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go to Melpomene, who is the muse of tragedy. She is Thalia's twin sister. I have made the two theater muses,
of course,
comedy and tragedy, twins.
I mean, obviously. Love it.
Obviously. Yeah, they can't go anywhere without each other.
No.
They actually, instead of writing in their own individual journals, they have magicked their journals so that whatever one of them writes automatically appears in the others. So it's basically like their magic texting.
Nice.
And Melpomene, the muse of tragedy, helps humans invent flight because in her mind, that is something that will give us like the ultimate catharsis. That's what she's really seeking. She loves when tragic moments lead to huge emotional payoffs.
And you know what? It's inspirational. Those have been moments that have created great art. They have created like connection to other people. They have created art that has healed the artist, but also future people down the road. Dang, she might have a point there.
And at the same time, gives us like the ultimate highs that we can achieve as a society. Like that first hot air balloon ride that the Montgolfier brothers did in the 1700s. If I was there, like all of the hair would be standing up on my body. Like I would have chills. That would be a magical sight to behold. I love that if need be, I can hop on this magical science device and be on the other side of the world in like 20 hours, you know, if I need to be. So Melpomene does that with so much glee. And Cleo uses that story of Melpomene helping the Wright brothers invent airplanes to talk about what really drives creativity. Like what can you do to nurture it? And one of the best things you can do is collaborate, is share your ideas with other people. We did this, you and I.
Absolutely.
I would not have been able to write this book without like talking to you almost every day. So yes, thank you for your extra brain power.
I'm glad to have participated, but I do feel very strongly that we forget that writing is collaborative. It's one of the arts. Obviously, like painting can be solo. Like there are many arts where you can do it solo, but we forget that because since you like end up writing the book, like you have to sit down at the desk, right?
Yeah.
Like it feels like it all comes from one person, but some of the best books have had editors. They have the authors speak to other people. There are drafts written that other people get to read and give edits before it's even published. So writing is actually a very collaborative act. And so it's just something important to remember.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. One of the things that comforted me most, because I was nervous about this project, I knew it was going to be a big challenge and a big ask. I was very comforted knowing that I would have an editor.
Yeah. Tell us about Calliope.
Yes, that was one of my favorite chapters to write. Calliope is the muse of epic poetry. Like, you know, the Odyssey is in theaters. Everyone's talking about it. The Odyssey was an epic poem. And so it was Calliope who was inspiring that. And like at the beginning when Homer, he calls to the muse, like there are lots of different muses that he could mean. Yeah, but Calliope, the muse of epic poetry, is right there and is probably who he's talking about. She helps humans share their stories. And so she initially helped us invent writing and then helped us invent the press and publishing systems and eventually the internet, because that was a way that regular people, everyone, would be able to share their stories with as many people as possible. And
I see where this is going.
So she covers the invention of the internet, and that information is presented in the form of an epic fantasy story.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I could see that. I love that, especially because it just works on multiple layers, because she's sharing a story about a creation and humanity, and you also got to be so creative. Like, you got to stretch your creative wings, obviously through this whole process, but with this chapter in particular, you were able to kind of do what you're saying, is to like tell a great story.
Yes. And like personally, one of my favorite things to think about is how true information is embedded in mythology. And so I got to embed true information into this fantastic tale about Queen Calliope and her knights fighting against the evil legions of Obscuro to give people the ability to hold on to their legacy and pass it on to the next generation. She turns all of these nerdy computer science guys into knights and mythical creatures. There's this one Welsh computer scientist who helped create some sort of protocol for the internet. And the Welsh symbol is the dragon. And so in this story, he is literally a dragon. He is literally a dragon knight who has to fight these bad guys with his fire breath and his talons.
I love it. I love it.
So I just love getting to adapt all of that. And I don't know if everyone's going to get all of the little things that I did to twist it, but to me, they're just so fun. And
I think that's really important. You say it, I believe you say it in the book, that like sometimes you need to just do something creative for you. It doesn't have to be for other people and who gets it. It's like, this is just me being creative and having a good time and expressing something. So I love it.
Exactly. Yes. And sometimes we're creative and it's not necessarily a good time, but it's still valuable.
Yeah.
Because this chapter was fun to write in a creative way. Chapter 3 was really, really challenging to write in a creative way because I decided that if there are 4 muses of poetry, one of them should actually write in poems.
You did do that.
I did do that. And so
how was that for you, bestie?
That was really hard.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
That was really hard, but I think they turned out okay. I don't know if you've read the poems, bestie.
Not yet, bestie. I am going to... Well, actually, I was going to ask this later, but how do you perform them in the audiobook, bestie?
Oh, I performed the hell out of them in the audiobook.
Hey, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about that later. I'm going to come back to that because I still want people to get the essence of what this book is and how cool it is.
Which muse did we not do? Is it terpsichore that we did not do?
Yeah.
Yes. Last but certainly not least, and in the birth order that I've imagined, she is the second youngest, so just older than Urania. We have Terpsichore, who is the muse of dance, the only muse of motion, of anything physical, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So she covers the invention of spandex because as a dancer, as an athlete, she's always wanted clothes that move with her body. And so it really covers the history of textiles. I cover the invention of weaving and lace making and different types of fabrics. And Cleo uses that story to talk about what type of work is considered creative. Because I talked about how the Greeks only considered poetry creative. Moving forward to more modern times, like in the 1800s, what was considered creative was expanded, but was weird along gender lines.
Yeah.
So this, sewing and weaving especially, was such gendered work for so long and was so necessary that it almost became mundane. So the art of making clothes over time kind of stopped being considered an art because it just needed to be done until male designers came along,
of course,
and made it into an art form. Same thing with cooking and chefs.
Yep.
Yeah, and so that chapter is all about, well, what are we considering creative? And then the chapter after that is who gets to claim this, right? Because so many people have been kept out of it for so long.
Yeah, and there's power in fabric. And I say this to bring up the Odyssey because Penelope is weaving a tapestry, but it has power because she undoes it every night to prevent having to choose a new suitor. So it's even in the oldest story, there is still power in fabric. I love it.
100%. Yeah. And there are tapestries that are still hanging up in museums, that are still, valued relics of ancient times that show different stories. My friend from college, Bethany, is about to go on a trip to the UK so that she can see this special tapestry, which apparently is embroidered. It's not an actual tapestry because it's not woven. Oh. But it's called this tapestry that displays the Norman invasion. And she's psyched to go see this. Granted, she has a PhD in medieval history. She is my type of nerd. But this is how important weaving and textile arts can be in culture.
Yeah, and definitely a communicative tool as well over time. You were able to tell stories, shrouds and things like that. So I love that you were able to include it, but it just still tickles me that it ended up being about spandex. It's just because it is so, it is so perfect. But also spandex? It feels very 80s, despite
You're right.
I'm just imagining purple, shiny purple lycra or whatever.
Lycra. Yeah. I know. Yeah. And the aerobics outfits.
Yes,
the jazzercise outfits. Yeah, absolutely. That was the aesthetic I was really surrounding myself with when I was writing that chapter for sure.
I love it. So talking about writing each chapter. So these chapters take place in different eras, different moments in time. They are written in different ways. Each muse kind of speaks differently. Tell me about creating each muse. How did you express them in the story, and how was that process?
Yeah, I tried to base it on what we knew about the muses and their domains with, those creative twists that I talked about earlier, like with Polymnia. But for Polymnia, she's always shown in the classic iconography with her hand, her finger in front of her mouth, in a shushing motion.
Really?
And so, not always, but often. And so in my mind, she's secretive, and I thought of her as a spy master. And so she actually does develop this network of nymphs across the world who inform her on her various projects.
Oh, I love that.
And so she's very spy master. I don't know if you ever read the Trickster's Choice duology by Tamora Pierce, but I was heavily inspired by that. And so she's the spy master, and so she speaks very quietly and very calmly, and she uses language that is intentionally confusing. So I spent a lot of time watching videos on like legalese and academies, like explicitly convoluted speak, and that's how I started writing her before she kind of softens.
Yeah.
So that was really fun.
Nice.
Melpomene, the muse of tragedy, she's such a drama queen.
Of course.
Everything is it's the end of the world, Thalia. Or like, oh, I just had the worst day ever. And oh, when will these mortals ever cry again? She's just...
honestly, mood.
Yes. So this is a section where she's talking about Otto Lilienthal, who is this pioneer in gliders, and the day that he unfortunately fell to his demise.
Ooh.
Melpomene starts this journal entry with, "I doubt I've ever witnessed anything so beautiful."
I can see it. I can see it. Did you like match their voice to like something from each era? Like, did you do it that deeply, or was it just more like the vibe of what you wanted to express?
More the vibe, and not that era. And I didn't want to do accents. She has an affectation, and so she like will say theater, but she doesn't actually have an accent.
Yeah, it's part of her drama.
In the way that I've done. Exactly. She is exaggerating everything. But yeah, for each of them, I wanted to go based off of their personality. So Urania is really, really small, really quiet and withdrawn. So she had like a higher voice. And for her writing, it's all very list-based. Like she's super logical. She's observing. She wants the numbers. She starts all of her journal entries with a description of where the moon and different planets in the sky are.
Nice.
And yes, I was
gonna say,
make sure, because these journal entries have dates, I did make sure that those moon phases and planet placements are accurate to those days, everyone. I went to the sites and I rewound the sky.
Amazing. Okay? Honestly, so cool we can even do that.
I know. Let's see, who else is like Terpsichore, she's the only non-writing muse. And so she has these long run-on sentences. She abbreviates everything, turns everything into like an acronym. And I wanted to make all of the acronyms and initialisms funny. So like instead of like TTYL or like BRB, she says BBL.
Oh no.
I'll be back later.
She's valid, but also, oh no.
It doesn't mean anything in her world.
Oh, I love it.
Happy book week to me, happy book week to me, and happy book week to us all. If you've ordered Mothers of Invention and it's on the way, or if you're waiting to pick it up in person at your local bookstore or read it from your local library, thank you so, so much. Whether that describes you or not, I hope we're all feeling a little extra creative this week in honor of Mothers of Invention coming out. Connie went to decorate my book cake because we're doing a little celebration together. And while she's gone, I thought I would tell you some ways that you can help Pale Blue Pod grow if that's something you'd like to do. The first way is to spread the word. Review us on your favorite podcast app and share a specific episode with a specific friend. Word of mouth recommendations are so powerful, and the more listeners we have, the more we can rely on support from sponsors and less on support from you. So thank you in advance for that. The next way you can help us is by buying our merch. Speaking of Mothers of Invention, speaking of book stuff, we are selling a mug that has images of all of the muses on it, the same illustrations from the book. So you can really get some inspiration from that sip of coffee or tea as you're sitting down at your desk. Check it out along with our other awesome merch at certifiedcrucial.com. That link is in the description. The next way you can help us is by supporting us on Patreon. Thank you so much to the patrons who support us financially already every single month, like our new pre-main sequence stars, Jane Bush and Caroline Wenzel. How does that deuterium fusion in your cores feel? I imagine it's a nice little buzz. Either way, welcome. You've joined the sky along with our sun-like stars, Scott Reynolds, Tom T., Seven Petrichor, Ashley Shambo, Bruce Sedloff, and Kelly Bennell. Thank you so much for your support, my golden friends. If you want to join this amazing group of people, you would get to hear your name on the show, make it onto my patron star chart, and get research notes for pretty much every episode. And you could become a star for $5 a month at patreon.com/palebluepod. If a monthly donation isn't something you can do right now, or you're just not interested, you can make a one-time donation at the PayPal link in the episode description and become a supernova in our sky. But no matter what kind of support you give, we love you, you are space, and Connie and I are just honored to be a part of your week. Thank you so much for listening. Before I get back to the episode, I want to share a podcast recommendation with you. It is Spirits, one of my personal favorite podcasts out there. It's a history and comedy podcast focused on everything folklore, mythology, and the occult, told through the lens of feminism, queerness, and modern adulthood. Every week, mythology buff Julia and her childhood best friend Amanda get together to learn about a different story from mythology and folklore over drinks. Get it? It's like the spirits. It's a pun. I love it. They cover everything from deep dives into the pantheons of ancient Greece and Egyptian mythology. They've covered Arthurian legend. They've covered the mythological origins of major film franchises like Wonder Woman and Pokemon. They just released their 500th episode where they played a drinking game and gave advice on how to survive different folklore scenarios. Check it out. They are hilarious. You can dive in at spiritspodcast.com or search for Spirits wherever you download your podcasts. All right, Connie's back, and she's really outdone herself with this speckled galaxy pattern on the cake. She is my bestie, so she knows how much I love a mirror glaze. We're going to let this set while we continue talking about my book, so let's get back to the convo. It's a meta experience to write a book about creativity in
Absolutely.
this weird way. And I developed a deeper appreciation for creativity in writing this book. For the poems themselves, because I knew I wanted Euterpe to be really emotional. Like that's her character. That's her main character trait, is that she's always crying or like super happy. Like she's always emoting. And so for the poems, I wrote down just in like plain prose what I wanted the poem to be about. Mm-hmm. And then I would go back, read it, work myself up into an emotional frenzy. I do not recommend this. I do not recommend this. These poems it's like the invention of jazz music, which has roots in slavery. And so I was like sitting
really
there reading
about
it, really watching documentaries, like working myself up to like tearful fits.
Oh my goodness.
And then the poems came out.
Good. And that's what we call method writing, I guess. I don't think Zendaya approved of this one, but, whatever works.
I like to think she'd still be proud.
Yo, of course. Yeah. I know music was a big part of your process while writing the book. Like, what did you listen to for each muse? What got you into the mood to be Melpomene or Cleo even as just like kind of our main character? What did you listen to for her?
Great question. Mozart.
Ooh, okay.
It was all classical, but I quickly narrowed in on a lot of Mozart playlists.
Okay.
For Cleo. Mm-hmm. As the muse of history, I wanted her to have like old tastes. I wanted her to be rooted. But to her, like, that's her pop music. Okay. Yeah. Like, her sisters should be happy that she's not playing like ancient Buddhist chants. Okay.
Yeah. No, I love that. She's like into the most obscure types of music. Like not just old, but it's like, I mean, she's, again, Mozart's her pop music, but she's really listening to those deep cuts, okay?
Oh, yes. She has the recordings from people in the cave raves, like the first cave raves, okay? Anything after recording devices.
New Gregorian chant just dropped. I'll be back, sis.
Gotta go listen to the monks live. Like,
And she can just go, you know?
that's the thing. They do the way I imagine them. They're just popping into like places and time periods. They look different when they are interacting with different people. And so, yeah, they're just bopping around.
Just bopping around.
Yeah, but Cleo was all classical. Euterpe was all jazz music.
Of course.
Which I really didn't like jazz music before I did this chapter. And now I definitely, there is some of it that I do like.
Amazing.
Yes,
and I'm
and I
sure
have,
like
like,
a new
appreciation.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yes.
because not it's like some styles are just not your style, and that's fine. But I think of most genres, somebody can find some songs that they like.
Yes, exactly.
I do believe that.
Polymnia, I listen to spy music, like instrumental spy soundtrack. Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, I listen to like that on a loop for Polymnia. Urania, brown noise.
Oh,
Pure
you know
brown
what? That
noise.
makes sense. Like, she has been around since before music.
Yeah. I mean, they all have.
Yes, yes, of course. But she doesn't
she
like
really
a lot
likes
of
her
noise.
silence
Yeah.
with the she wants her silence, her alone time with the stars.
She just wants to hear the like frogs and crickets going in the fields and by
Yeah.
the lakes. Like, she wants that natural sound.
Yes.
And like brown noise is as close to a creek as she can get it sometimes, you know?
I think even a creek is too terrestrial. You know, like it
Ooh.
truly is just the
ether?
continuum sound of the ether. Yes.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
I mean, there
Yeah.
are people who listen to that on YouTube right now, so they play it to go to sleep. So she's just like the rest of us. Muses, they're just like us.
They're just like us, exactly. Or are we just like them?
You're so right, bestie.
Yeah, and then like I have a Sexy Times playlist that I listen to for Arado's chapter.
Okay.
And Thalia got like old school rock.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I love that. You should post a playlist someday that people can listen to be inspired.
It was so funny because I don't use Spotify anymore, but I did when I was working on the book. And for my last Spotify Wrapped, when it said what I was listening to each, like by month, I could tell which chapter I was working on each month based on that.
That's an amazing way to just like connect with your art. It's like, here's my annual reminder of what I did through music.
Truly.
You also record the audiobook for Mothers of Invention, which must be exciting. There's so many different characters and like maybe not accents, but affectations. How did that go, Moiya?
I had been planning how I would do the audiobook basically since I got the deal to write it. And I was so excited, but I also had an amazing director and engineer working with me. I had ideas for voices and she, like, we would workshop them together. And she really made sure that I stayed in character the whole time, which was great. And she did veto some ideas. She wasn't just like going with everything. Because originally I came in, I wanted Melpomene to sound more like a Valley girl. And then she read some of the chapter and she was like, no, she's not a Valley girl. Like, she has more substance than that. You need to give her a voice with more depth.
Yeah.
So I did. And there were times when I didn't think I could go for a voice, and she was very encouraging. Like, Urania ends up having almost like an anime style, like high voice. Like, it was really hard.
Yeah.
Thalia has kind of like a nasal thing going on. So the entire time I was doing Thalia's voice, I was like holding my nose shut.
Oh my goodness.
And like really forcing it. Like, my voice was shot by the end of that whole process.
After you did that for a week, and then, you know, like the next one, the championship, and then it was Pride, you called and could not speak.
True, but worth it. So worth it.
Man,
that was a great week.
Yeah, you had a great, just like doing something extra creative, doing something out of your like norm, and then like the collaborative process of having someone to bounce ideas off of, or to look at something from a different point of view and to be able to give you notes or new suggestions that you may not have thought of, because we don't all know all the things, and so it's good to chat with other people and come together with new ideas.
We actually recorded Euterpe's twice. We
Wow.
recorded all the poems twice because the first time she was the first one we did. And so we were leaning really into her being emotional. So all of them were delivered with a kind of like forced tears voice almost. And then Tiffany, the director, we went through the rest of them and she was like, actually, I think we need to redo Euterpe. She's the muse of lyric poetry. Her name means the pleasant one. And you need to make her voice like prettier, you know? And so we went back at the very end and did that again. So yeah, collaboration really matters.
It really does. And then in the book, we can see illustrations of each muse. Tell me about the creation of that. Like, I think you know the illustrator, right?
Oh, yes. This is the same illustrator I worked with for the Milky Way, Anna Marie Salai, who was my best friend in 3rd grade.
Wow.
We used to sit in Mr. Davis's class next to each other and write notes to each other in code that we created. And we would fold them up and hide them for the other to find after lunch. It was very sweet. And she's now a super talented artist and illustrator. So she helped me bring these muses to life. The initial direction that I gave for her was like fashion line sketches. So I didn't want them to have like discernible facial features really. And I didn't want there to be a lot of detail, but I wanted it to like show the idea and show motion because I want these muses to be kind of like blank spaces that other people can put themselves onto.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Because they can appear to anyone. And as you say, even in the book, like they appear in different ways to different people, exactly like inspiration does.
Yes, thank you. Yes. And so all of their clothing mirrors the time period that their invention is made in. So Urania is shown in like a 1600s type dress. And Calliope, who does the invention of the internet, is shown in like an 80s power suit. But they're also shown with their kind of classic iconographic features. So Calliope has her laurel wreath. Cleo is shown with her books. She's shown sitting on a stack of books.
Cute.
And Euterpe has her flute. Erato has her lyre. And it was just so nice working with Anna. She's a thrill to work with.
That's so exciting. And again, collaboration since the 3rd grade. Like, that's wild. And I love the idea of just like one of you became a writer, one of you became an illustrator, and you get to like do this stuff together. It's so nice.
I know. I was like, clearly I love doing things with my besties.
Yes, you sure do. You sure do. There has been like a cool resurgence of like interesting Greek mythology, characters from that time period. There's the Odyssey, Percy Jackson. I've heard that Hadestown was pro shot on Broadway. And so that's in theaters right now. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. But Epic the Musical has been going around a lot. Like there's a lot of interest in this time and like seeing it in new forms. If you could see Mothers of Invention as a piece of media, what do you think it could look like?
I love this question, the adaptation question. Anyone out there who wants to adapt Mothers of Invention, get at me, please. Let's talk. Because I have ideas.
Yeah.
Because of their kind of changing shape and appearance, I do think it would be a really good animated show or animated film as opposed to live action.
Yes, bestie. I am totally down for that.
Yeah, because you can have the muses, and if they're always shown with like an aura of a particular color, you can have their specific features change.
That's so cute. I love that idea.
Thank you. Thank you. So then we're thinking about voices that would go along with the muses.
Yeah, because I imagine it like maybe like a animated drunk history or something, like something adult, like it's not for children. This is like, we want to actually get in there and talk about like these inventions in this time. It could be a great mini series, just throwing it out there, just throwing ideas out there, because it could go on, but a mini series to just like introduce it would be a great idea. So who do you think would voice or be like inspiration for the muses in this animated idea we have?
Thank you for this question. Thank you for telling me this question ahead of time.
Of course.
So that I could prepare, because I'm ready.
Yes, okay, let's go.
With the voice actor list. So I will say, I want to say right up top, one of the major points in the book, one of the major complaints about this cult of personality is that the roles keep going to the same people, the same big actors. You see them over and over again. And so ideally, a casting for this wouldn't have any known or like household name actors.
Yes, so some actual voice actors who voice act, and that is their craft and their creative expression. Like, there are actors who have absolutely made for great voice actors, but not all of them, and not all of them were necessary.
Right.
Towards doing that.
And I think we just need to give other people a chance. So I'm going to name the big actors because that's who I know, but that's like who I would give, obviously I'm like executive producer on
it's like
this
the typecast
series. Yeah. So I'm going to give the director these people to look out for.
Exactly.
Okay. We're going to go in, let's do chapter order. Okay. For Urania.
Okay.
Muse of Astronomy covering the telescope. I have an either or. I'm sorry, I couldn't choose.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Either Mindy Kaling or Loretta Devine.
Wow. Okay.
Or is it Divine?
I've heard Divine.
Okay, Loretta Devine.
Yeah, wow.
Cuz I want high voice. I want someone who sounds small but can make it very clear that she is a large force.
Loretta is so perfect for that. Because there's just something about, I don't know what's going on, but you are gonna turn right around. And like she sounds, not to say, I mean, she kind of does sound the same in every thing she's in.
Because her voice works.
Because her voice works. And a lot of her characters are this like matriarchal figure, but she's so sweet, but you will not play her. Okay?
Precisely.
I love that idea.
Yay,
especially for like an older Black woman actress. Like, come on. Like, I am so into this idea. Love it.
Yay. Thank you for your approval. Okay, I feel good now. Off to a good start.
Oh, yeah.
Chapter 2 is Terpsichore, and I think she would be voiced by, I want her to be voiced by an athlete.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm thinking Ilona Maher, the very popular women's rugby player.
Okay.
Who is, like, I like her voice, but she's got some strength to it.
Yeah.
And I think she can do a graveliness if she needs to, and she sounds strong. I want Terpsichore to sound strong.
I love that, because for fabric and spandex, like things that are like you put it together in the right way and it is very strong, and the dancing, obviously, like spandex is a dancer's best friend, so.
Yes, exactly. We love our spandex shorts, in rugby.
Yeah. And in real life, I'm wearing some right now.
Thanks. They're harder to grab onto.
Yeah.
If you're trying to tackle someone, you'll just slide right off.
Strength. Strength in the weave.
Okay, so for chapter 3 with Euterpe, this is like current people. This is like
whoever
I'm casting now, because like Dream.
Yeah, tell me the Dream
would be too. Alicia Keys in her prime.
I love that.
I want someone who has vocal range. I want someone who has emotion in their voice, and someone who, even when they're not singing, it sounds still like they're kind of singing.
Yes, she has such a melodic voice, especially when talking. Like, I can imagine she used it a lot in her songs. Like, I remember I Don't Know Your Name at the end. She's talking about the guy at the coffee shop. And like, that's a very melodic thing that she's just speaking. But her voice is very, like, the timbre of it, I would say. Like, she has a good bass to it. But, and this is the thing, the girl maxes out at an alto, and you just stay in your range.
Don't hurt yourself for us.
You know?
Don't hurt yourself for the art.
No.
Yes, but, since we don't technically have Ray.
I love Ray.
Yeah.
I love her so much. I love her music. That's a lovely choice. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
with or without the accent, like
Yeah.
I just think she has a very pleasant voice.
There's like a smoothness, so like a caramelness to it. It's the
Perfectly
caramel.
described.
Because it's not just smooth, it's like still thick, viscous.
Yes.
I'm just like making up. It's just getting worse now.
Yeah, I don't know if she'd like that,
better.
but-
Yeah, I made it better, and then I made it worse. It's fine.
Dulcet, maybe? Is that what people mean when they say dulcet
That's
tones?
a good question. Yeah, I like that though.
Okay, yeah, but I like her voice. And so euterpe.
And she can get really dramatic with her voice too.
Yes, yeah. I did almost have her for errato.
Ooh. Yeah. I do like it better for Euterpe because I think Ray's catalog is also very storytelling. Like she is a great storyteller in her music. Like on her latest album, like she has some very like epic orchestral. She works with Hans Zimmer. Like she has that like big voice for like just sweeping you through a story.
Yeah. Let's see, who's next? Chapter 4, Crying for Wings, Melpomene.
Okay. The title is just...
Well, so brief interlude. All of the chapter titles, the first word has to do with the Muses' classical domain. So the Muse of Tragedy, crying, and then the last word is about the invention. So crying for wings, feeling the swing.
I love idiosyncratic naming methods. I just do.
Thank you. I love a pattern. Yes, when I can follow it. Okay, are you ready for who's voicing Melpomene?
No. Let's go.
You're not. It's Billy Porter. It's Billy Porter.
You know what? The chaos in that choice might actually also make sense. Like, you know what? I'm going to let that go. I'm going to accept that because, yes, like someone who kind of just like comes in like, what's going on over here? Like, okay, sure. I don't know.
But like Billy Porter doing the grandest like Julie Andrews impression.
Yes, like I just don't even know what you're gonna do.
Yes, that's what I need.
These are Wright brothers. I just don't even know what they think is happening.
This isn't the next chapter, but because it's the twins, I have to keep them together.
Yeah.
So Melpomene as Billy Porter and her twin Thalia as Kiki Palmer.
Oh my gosh! Oh, you ate with that one, but also
thank you.
You plotted with that one too.
I've never snorted so much
never
on
stop
mic.
talking? Is that part of it?
Yes.
Okay.
They are always annoying people.
Gabbing.
Thalia is always standing on some sort of table telling her joke. Melpomene's always off in the corner asking everyone to pay attention to her while she faints on a fainting couch. They are always the center of attention.
Those are perfect for Kiki and Billy. Because Kiki always on a table somewhere telling a big story. And Billy Porter is kind of just chaotically all over the place, but he does be coming in with like a child, I don't even know. Yeah, I
was really proud of that pairing.
And they would gab. Oh my gosh, they would gab. Love it.
So, Hollywood, get at me. We have a plan.
Like, even if it's not these people, let's bring the energy. Let's bring that energy. But also, you need a little star power just to get some eyes on it, just a smidge, but we're not leaning too far into it because we are working on our creative thinking and moving away from the cult of celebrity.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But yeah, like these are the vibes.
Yes.
We're going
I love
for.
the vibes.
Okay, next, we skipped a couple chapters, so we'll do Praying for a Spark. That's Polymnia's chapter. Polymnia played or voiced by Cara Delevingne.
These are such great deep cuts because, as you said earlier, like you wouldn't have been able to come up with the names of these people on the spot, but also like the bank that you're pulling from is just so wild. And I'm not mad at it. Okay, let me think.
It's because specifically I'm picturing like Cara Delevingne in Carnival Row.
Okay.
And they just look dark and mysterious and hot as hell. And I want them in this, okay?
Okay.
I want to meet them.
Okay, so this is more of a self-serving.
No, they would be great for the role.
Not at all.
Don't they just have like this air of mystery about them? And I think that's very good for Polymnia.
But also chaos? Okay, but the electricity, actually, okay. Yeah. I just brought it back around. I was like, okay, there it is. The chaos of, the chaos of electricity, but also the like tempestuous relationship with her father. Yeah. That would all kind of track. Because I feel like Cara Delevingne just shows up random places and is always doing something very weird. Like she's just like on a red carpet somewhere, and it's like, why are you here? And then what are you doing? Like, you're just standing in the background. I think she was just like standing awkwardly somewhere, and I was just like, what? Okay, sure.
Okay.
She just shows up places.
Just looking fine and in the background. Just do it. Doing it for the pictures. I love it. Then we have Loving Control at chapter 6 with Erato, the muse of erotic poetry.
I'm so excited to hear your casting here.
This was hard. This was really tough.
I think it would be. I think it would be.
Gillian Anderson.
I mean, was it that tough for you?
It was really hard. It was really hard.
Okay.
I was like, Selma Hayek.
Yeah.
I was like, well, Scarlett Johansson, I don't want her head to get too big.
Yeah.
And then I thought Ray. I was like, maybe I go for like one of the sultry singers.
Right.
Then I just closed my eyes and Gillian appeared.
Yeah. I think all of Tumblr would agree with you. Like every person who has ever visited the Tumblr website probably is like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because how is she as aged as fine wine as she is and still looking the way? You know, like she has a confidence about her. And I think it's so interesting because I didn't watch the X-Files, but like her character there is kind of known for being this like more, you know, like stuffy, disbelieving of the few episodes I've seen. She's like in like FBI gear. Like she has this, to me, just like pop culture view of her is very like the opposite of who she has become since. And so it's really nice to see her be able to like overcome like this big fan, you know, typecast that might be attached to her and then be like a sex icon at 60 something years old. Incredible work.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yes. I really did eat with this list.
You did.
I'm quite proud. Okay, we have two more.
Okay.
The final chapter, not including the conclusion, Calliope, the muse of epic poetry. I'll tell you that initially, this is not who I ended up with, but initially I was thinking Melissa McCarthy.
Okay. Okay.
Who I landed on was Issa Rae.
Okay. Yes.
Because wouldn't she just tell the shit out of an animated story?
She really would. She really would. I can see it, especially because it is like also really dramatic. And like she has that like just like regular like great storytelling like voice and experience. But just like that's kind of what I recognize about her. And so it's just like, yeah, she would be like, and then what happened? You don't even know. And then she could, she could rap it.
It would be so entertaining. And she also she still has this like big sister quality to her that is really important for Calliope because Calliope, you know, like reared all of the muses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, she's definitely a big sister type. This is great. Did we say Cleo? Remind me.
Cleo
you're saving it for last? Okay.
Cleo, I went back and forth. How do you feel about Hilary Duff?
Okay, you got to sell me on this one. How did we get there?
Well, so I was bouncing back and forth between like a Julie Andrews, like Dame Maggie Smith type character and someone who just feels really youthful. And to me, Hilary Duff won out because she feels really youthful, but we know she's not a baby. Like we know Hilary Duff has lived through some stuff.
Yeah.
And also she's the narrator of the book. Cleo is the narrator of the book.
Lizzie McGuire.
Hilary Duff has narrated some of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Lizzie McGuire. And I loved How I Met Your Mother. That show should have gone on longer. And granted, it was Kim Cattrall who was narrating that, but Hilary Duff was great as the lead role.
How I Met Your Father?
Sorry, yes, How I Met Your Father. I loved How I Met Your Father. That deserved more seasons. It got cut off too soon.
Good to know. Good to know. Well, not good that it happened, but like I didn't check it out because I was just like, I don't think I can retread this right now.
And so when I was coming up with Cleo's voice, I wanted it to be pretty different from the Milky Way's. Like it was still my voice, but I wanted it to care about people in a way that the Milky Way did not care about people. And Hilary Duff has that kind of welcoming, I'm going to take care of you, you're going to be entertained type of voice to me.
Yeah, I kind of do like it as like a relatable friend who's telling us about history, but like it's not in a stuffy way. It's not in this like overly like this battle happened in this time. It's like, okay, I'm just going to like break it down for you really real and like explain it to you in plain language. Yeah.
But I will say I am most open, I think, to moving on this one.
Yeah, I could see it. And the interesting thing about this idea that you mentioned earlier was like, as an animation, you could like change how they look or change something else about them. Each episode, even as they bounce through time, like it'd be a really cool concept. Yeah.
It would be. Yeah. They're all changing forms. One of my, I don't think it's one of my favorites, but it's up there. There's a line in the book in Arato's chapter where Cleo is saying like, you know, Arato has studied this. She's devoted her life to sensual pleasure and mastering these humanoid forms we all share. And then she says, and other forms too. Like, let's be honest, she is our father's daughter. And so I just like, I just love that like in at least one scene, you have to see Arato as like a goose.
Yeah, I imagined a peacock for some reason. Like that's where I went was like the peacock. I feel like she'd like have the big plume and be like, yes, I'm seducing you.
100%. I mean, like, why not show all of Zeus's weird forms? Let's have Arato as some rain.
Is that what Drew Barrymore was experiencing in that video? You're welcome.
Of all the things I would have predicted you to say.
And that was the first image, truly the first image that came to mind when you said, as the rain. And I just pictured Drew Barrymore's happy face in the rain.
I love you so much. Thank you for this. Okay, so yeah, what do you think of my casting?
I love it. I can truly picture it, and who knows? There's, like I said, there's been a resurgence right now of like Greek stories and people being interested in it. Bessie, why do you think we are so drawn to that era? I mean, there are so many obvious reasons, but you tell me as the expert. Why do you think people are so hype about like the Odyssey? It's like making $1 bajillion in the box office. Percy Jackson's coming back. There are so many connections to these oldest stories. What do you think we're seeking by continuous, like still returning to these stories?
Oh, I love that question. What are we seeking? I think familiarity, first and foremost. These stories feel familiar to us because we've heard about some of them, but also Greek culture, Greek mythology is baked into our culture here in the West.
Absolutely.
It's in our constellations. It's in a lot of like the roots to our words. We have words that are based on Greek myths like Sisyphean, Icarian, like we have these words. And on the other side of that, I think that those stories are just so timeless. The reason they were told in the first place is because they were giving voice to universal experiences, and we're still having them. You know, we still like not just the natural stuff, but the feelings and the hubris and the comedy of errors type of shit that happens in Greek mythology. Like that still happens today, and I think it's nice for people to revisit them and be reminded that the people telling those stories thousands of years ago were also going through similar stuff. So it's like we're seeking the familiar stories, but also seeking to connect along these familiar experiences.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, how do you think this interest or this resurgence or how your book can help us remember how to regain what you call, well, what Cleo calls our divine connection to creativity. How do we get back to that, like, feeling?
Practice. It doesn't have to be a great piece of art. It doesn't have to be a song that you share with everyone. There are so many different ways to be creative. My main creative outlet, aside from what I do for work, is cooking. And every once in a while, I'll pick up some strings and I'll knot them into a pretty design. I love macrame. I love string art. But that's not to show anyone. That's not to make any money. It's just for me. I think creating for yourself is so powerful. And creating smallly relieves a lot of pressure for the big moments of creation, if that's something you have to do. But ultimately, what's helped me the most is kind of returning to that old idea of the inspiration coming from outside. Maybe I don't necessarily like believe that there are these invisible muses like literally right next to me, but it's really helped my creative process to try and like court these muses, to try and, depending on what type of creativity I'm doing, invite a specific one of them to come and do it with me. And that relieves a lot of the pressure that I've felt in the past. I can get over writer's block more quickly when I don't feel like I have to search within myself to get the words, but like wait for the words to come from outside.
Nice.
And be ready to catch them when they do.
Yeah. In the book,
I just remembered like the true origin of this, the book idea.
Ooh, let's go back around to the beginning. Yes.
Yes. I can't remember how I didn't think to say this, but it's because of my favorite TED Talk ever.
Ooh, okay.
By Elizabeth Gilbert, who was past writing Eat, Pray, Love and was wondering what her next project was going to be. And like, how do you even do anything after something that's such a massive success? And she talked about genius being external in the past, and now we've internalized it. But like, she had this story of a time she was driving down the road and an idea kind of washed through her, and she could tell that if she didn't write it down, it was going to go to someone else. You know, like how Michael Jackson was like, you know, if I don't do this, it's got to go to Prince.
Yeah, Prince, right? Get it. It's so funny. And that's part of the book. Like, that's kind of an element of the book, too, is that, like, the competition also can inspire creativity.
It can.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sorry.
It can't. Well, no, because it can.
I was like, oh, no, I don't want to undermine what you said.
No, because you're right. In certain circumstances, it's extremely helpful. But it's best if it's competition where you're freely sharing ideas. The problem with a lot of competition is that it encourages people these days under the like current incentive structures with our copyright system and the way fame goes to the first person who makes a big splash about something. You're incentivized to hoard all of your knowledge as you learn it. And so that's why like you might get a little burst or a little push because you want to work faster to beat the other person, but you're still not getting as much as if you were collaborating.
I guess this is going to be our final question, Bestie. What are some fields out there that you think there should be a muse of, or maybe they're like much younger sisters?
Oh, yeah. I think there needs to be a muse of visual arts.
Absolutely.
Like for sure, there isn't one of those. I think that something with the hands. There's Terpsichore is moving her body, but there's not really a muse to do stuff with hands. So like cooking, these types of crafts.
Well, knitting. No, knitting would be weaving, I guess, but I was thinking of sculpture still then.
Considered, like the weaving. All of that was considered techne by the ancient Greeks, which was a craft. It was something that was made according to rules.
Right.
That you had to follow. And so that's why there isn't a muse of these things. But now that type of stuff is considered creative, I think that there would be a muse of handiwork.
Yeah.
I think that there would be... Because the theater muses moved into film eventually. Let's see, what like art forms are completely new?
It's such a hard question because it kind of goes into what you're saying is that we've had these like monumentous like revolutions in art and created new art forms. And we're kind of at a stuck point because we're just regurgitating a lot of what we've already done.
But I think that would cover it. If we have the 9 and then +1 for visual stuff and +1 for the crafts, the handcrafts.
Yeah.
I think that would be a solid collection.
Yeah. So we'd up it to 11. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a decent number.
We should formalize that one day because obviously the Greeks couldn't agree. Somebody was like, there are 3. We don't care about those other ones. Someone was like, there's just 7. So I think we could add some more. It's time.
Dusty, are you asking to pack the Muse court?
Yes, actually, I think I might be.
I think you are.
Listen,
the times have changed. We've updated.
We have got to do something because we are being oppressed by obscure.
Help, we're being oppressed.
This was so fun, bestie. I am so glad that I've been able to go through this entire process with you. From I have to write the first chapter and set it in by next week to you have the book in your hand right now. So I want all of our listeners to go pick it up. Mothers of Invention. When's it coming out, bestie?
August 18th. It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
It comes out tomorrow.
Oh my goodness, bestie. It comes out tomorrow. I am so happy for you, and I can't wait to get my hard copy and have you sign it. And I'm really proud of you for the way you've stretched yourself, the way you have taken a look at where we are right now and put some words to it that I hope that people can take with them as we all kind of figure out this journey of how do we get back to being creative and collaborative, because I think those are going to be the things that help us through not only the big stuff that we are facing right now, but also getting us through the little things and the everyday ways that many of us are struggling. And I think getting back to creativity and community are both ways that we can work that out.
Yes. So well said. I agree. I hope we can all do that. I hope the book pushes even just like one person in that direction. Yeah.
Cleo, she did her big one on inspiring you in this, and hopefully that continues to spread.
Yay! Yes.
Happy birthday, bestie!
Thank you, bestie. Thank you.
We did it. I took over the podcast.
You did it. Thank you for interviewing me. These were great questions.
I'm glad.
I'm glad I got to talk about the book.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for helping me share the news of my book with everyone, bestie. You know I'm not good at talking about myself without being prompted. So
it's okay.
That's
what I'm here for, is to help the creative process.
Collaboration, yes.
Exactly.
Stop, collaborate, and listen. Well, listeners, no matter which muse is visiting you today, you are space. Bye.
Bye. Pale Blue Pod is hosted by Dr. Moiya McTier and Connie Gibbs. Moiya created the show with the funny and talented Karine Caputo with help from the Multitude Productions team.
Our theme music is by Evan Johnston, our cover art by Shay McMullen, and our audio editing is handled by the superlative Misha Stanton.
Stay in touch with us and the universe by following @PaleBluePod on Instagram or check out our website, palebluepod.com.
I, Moiya, am Go Astro Mo on all socials.
And I'm @ConStar24 on Instagram.
If you want to support our show, join our community at patreon.com/palebluepod or send this episode to your family and friends group chats.
We're a member of Multitude, an independent podcast collective and production studio. If you like Pale Blue Pod, you will love the other shows that live on our website at multitude.productions.
Thanks for listening to Pale Blue Pod. We'll be back next week.